Hello, hello, hello. Patricia here, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Sorry, needed to get that unwobbled. Demonstrator here in the United States, but more specifically in Alaska. And by the way, I start my videos out letting you know that I'm a demonstrator, letting you know that I'm in the United States, and specifically that I am in Alaska. Now, you don't really have to do that. I just want you to know, because I find living in Alaska is interesting to a lot of people. I do create videos of living here in the village. I live in the village during the winter when school is in session. And then I live back in my home in Palmer, which is about 30 miles north of Anchorage when it's not school time. But today's video is going to be about becoming a demonstrator. Now, basically what that means is, at its basis, is that you purchase a kit. And I've had quite a few questions lately from people that are like, okay, so if I buy a kit, what's in the kit? Well, you completely and totally decide what you want to be in the kit. So then their next question is, well, what do you suggest that I get in my kit? Okay, so you've got $125 normally, or right now, you could have $155 to buy whatever you want, or you could get the $125 plus 2 sets of markers, 10 markers each, so 20 markers, and you choose which of the 4 marker sets you want, and a free stamp set. Okay, I'm going to write all that down for you in just a minute so you can see that. That's why I was holding this pen. But people have asked, what do you need to get started? The first thing I think that you need to get started is a paper trimmer. Now, the things I love about this paper trimmer is not only does it cut, but it also will score. And you can see on here, I've actually marked mine S and C for score and cut. But it will cut and score 12 inches this way. It will go up to 17 inches this way. Most of the time, we probably only use 12 inches, but it's there if we need it. So there's this arm that extends to give me that. It has not only inches, but centimeters. So metric as well. There are straight lines on this. So it goes from the 3-inch all the way up to this 3-inch, so that if I want to make sure it's straight, there's a bar here that I can make sure that my paper, when I put, of course I don't have a piece of paper right here in front of me, but let's take this card. I can put it right straight up against that and know that I'm going to have a straight line. So it also can hang on the wall should you decide to do that. And I love that. These, now this, the score thingy, I think you can replace that, but you don't really need to. That's not ever going to wear out. The only time you would need to replace that is if you were to lose it. But I've never lost one in any of my paper trimmers, and I've had them for a long time. Your cutting blade, however, you may want to replace, and if you do decide to replace your cutting blade, you get 4 of them in a pack. Now, I will tell you this, I keep this pack, and I don't know if you can see this. Let me pull it out of the bag. I mark the one that is used. Okay, so this one has been used, and it is no longer cutting well. If I wanted to cut some things, though, like, I don't know, paper for my kids in school, then that is not Stampin' Up! Paper, then I might pull that out and use that to cut with. But I've got 4 replacement blades in here, and all you have to do is you drag it down to the bottom, and right here there's a little notch. you lift this up, push it out of alignment with each other. I'm just pushing down on this side, and then I pull this out, and then I replace it by putting it back in that same spot, and now I've got a new one. Now, I will tell you this. Sometimes people cut only going up, and actually, you can't see that. Cut only going up, so that this end of their blade is the one that's being used all the time. And then when that side needs replaced, they just pull it down here, pull it out, and turn it over, and now they use that. I don't. I cut up this time, down this time, up the next, I do that. And it's neither one of them is right or wrong. It's just how you get in the habit of doing it. Okay, so the first thing you definitely want is a good paper trimmer. The next thing you want is probably going to be some different types of, this is not a full sheet, but adhesive. And so I've got a lot of those. I've got the glue dots, and I have a little extra something on that one. So I got to get rid of that. But I've got glue dots. I've got the Tombow glue, or Tombow Tombow multi, I don't know how you'd say that, what order, but anyway, Tombow glue. Stampin Seal, and if you get the Stampin Seal, you may want to get, well, this one isn't wanting to open right now, but the replacement cartridge that goes right in there, okay? Another thing that you may, I need to put these back so that they're where I need them when I go to craft, is dimensionals. Now, sometimes people ask me, so should I get all of those types of glue or adhesive? And to start with, I'm kind of like, yes. Now, I think you're going to use your glue dots all the time. You probably should always be using your dimensionals because it gives your cards or whatever it is that you're making, scrapbooks, more character. But the other two, these two, it may be a matter of which do you prefer. Now you'll notice I have both. I tend to use my liquid glue a little more often, and I actually do have it in a little, I call it green glue. I don't even know if you can see that it's written on there. But I do like the fine tip on this. But, I've used it for years and years and years just like this and had no trouble with it. But I tend to use this more often. But I do have this because there are times when I put something on or glue them together that I do not want there to be any movability in them. All right, the next thing you need is a pair of snips. As far as the paper trimmer and the snips and some of those kinds of things, it's more a matter of do you already have it or what do you like? I love these paper snips. I used to have some other paper snips. I don't even remember what name brand they were. And I liked them well enough, but they were a little jagged on the edge. And though it cut straight, I could always hear a little bit of almost crunching when it cut. I know that sounds so weird, but nonetheless, that's what it was. Oh, I almost remembered the name of them. Anyway, I love these paper snips. You do want a small pair of paper snips, not just, big scissors, because you do want to get into fine areas. So I love those paper snips. The next thing you want is, and I do recommend our Take Your Pick tool. It comes with this tool, which has a spatula on the end, a pokey tool on the other end, which I use a lot. It also comes with the little rubber part that picks up little bitty items. Like, I don't even know if it'll pick up see, I just tap it on there and pick it up. When this has gotten too used up or non-tacky anymore, I just turn that, more will come out, and I've got more to go. I do like to keep the lid on it so that it doesn't get dusty. The other end is a scoring. There's a small scoring bubble and a large scoring bubble, and I keep those in there. Now, I do have to admit that I have several of these. I think I have 2 or 3 more even. They're very inexpensive, so it's very, very worth it. These come with, there are 2 of these putty, that's what it's called. 2 of these putty ends come with your original take your pick tool. Okay. So again, let me put those in my carrier. This I highly recommend. It does come with a foam mat that you can put under your die cuts and brush them out with this brush. Love that. Oh, I took this one out. That's why that was out. There we go. And it just turns and unlocks, okay? So very easy to get out of there. This one screws in all the way, all right? So I have several take your pick tools because I keep all the ends in them. Now there's another set of tools that have a cutting blade. I will keep that on there again just because. Let me see if I have any of the other tools here that come with that cutting blade. There's a rolling blade that you can make a tear-off item with it that comes with that blade, and something else. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I use those tools a lot. Right at this moment, I'm packing a lot of stuff away because I'm getting ready to move back to my home at the end of the school year. With all my supplies, of course. The next thing that I highly recommend, and this you need at least 1 block. You may need more. I have several. I mean, I just have all the sizes. I mean, I know I'm a demonstrator, but you do get different size stamps, so you need different sizes of blocks. The ones that I most highly recommend, let me go back to where I was, are this one is the B, this one is C, and this one is D. So at the very, very least, you need, in my opinion, B, C, and D. Now, I do recommend that you get one that is slightly larger, but you may not need it for a while, and I believe this is E. Okay, so if you're just going to get one, I would recommend that you get D. That is my preference, and that is the size that comes in many of the kits, and that's one of the reasons that I recommend that. Okay, the next thing you need is a bone folder. This one's kind of dirty. It's not a problem. It still folds. And so I'm going to use that then when I take a cardstock. Oh, I've gotten some cuts out of this one. That's interesting. I fold it on the seam, and then I want to give it a good burnish so that it will almost lay flat. It's not wanting to lay flat at the moment, but give that a good burnish, and it will, especially once I get pieces on it, it will start to lay flat, okay? So those are your very, very, very basics. Once you get that, and you've got all of the, the paper trimmer and the paper snips and the blocks and the bone folder and all of those things, the take your pick tool and the adhesives, then you want to get a stamp set, at least one. And you need ink to go with that stamp set. So I suggest Memento ink. This one you're going to use when you use your blends markers, if you decide that that is something that you want to do. I love using my blends. I color with them a lot, but mostly I use stamp pads. So let's say I've decided I want to get a color. Let's say I'm going to go with, let's say this is real red. It's not, but let's say I'm going to go with real red. I should get then a package of real red paper, a stamp pad in real red, and a re-inker in real red. Now, if I really want to extend that, I should also get my blends, but you don't have to. If you are getting a kit right now and you are getting the markers with it, be sure that whichever color you decide to go with, that you get that corresponding marker set. Okay, so I told you I would tell you how it works. You spend $99 plus tax, and that's it. There's no shipping, so shipping is free. And with that, you get an additional $26, so for a total of $125 to spend on anything that is either in pre-order or that is currently being offered to all of our customers, okay? Then you've got a choice. You can either add $30 to this, or you can get a free set of markers, actually 2 sets of markers, and you decide which color, and a free stamp set. Okay? Then, in addition to all of that, you are going to get a free paper pumpkin kit, paper pumpkin, and you don't get a choice on which one. They will just send you whatever the next one is on the list. But you get a free paper pumpkin kit, and that kit is to give you an example of what our paper pumpkin kits look like. That the very first kit you get will come with a free, let me see if I've got it right here. Yeah, here it is. It comes with a free D block. Now, it's not the regular D, it's the size of a D block, but it's not the regular thickness that's kind of an ergonomic, but it still works. You can't even see that. Can you see it if I put a piece of paper behind it? Oh, there you go. You can see it a little bit better there. Cardstock. Okay, so it does have one of these D blocks in it. Free paper. You'll get all the free supplies that you need to run your business if that's what you want to do. Run your business. There we go. We can go down the side. Let's see. What else? I know there are other things in there, but I can't think what. So your basic choice is, and then the next thing is you get a 20% discount on everything else that you purchase. Now, everybody asks, what do I have to do after that? Let me erase all of this. And then, sorry, I didn't get a, okay. So, I do have a little bit of hand sanitizer. Woohoo! Didn't mean to put quite that much on there. That will take all of this off. Okay, so I'm just writing on here with a dry erase marker, and it erases just fine, just like a dry erase screen would, like in the classroom. And, woo! Almost took the lid off and not just the opening it. All right, so what do you have to do afterwards? After you have gotten your kit and continue on? Absolutely nothing. And you're going, what? Surely I've got to do something. You don't have to do anything. However, if you want to continue to be a demonstrator and get that 20% discount, what you would need to do then is you've got the first quarter. So our first quarter is January, February, and March. You would have to do absolutely nothing during that time, okay? Then, beginning in April, May, and June, you would need to turn in $300 worth of orders. Now, that's whether you buy $300, whether somebody, a friend, buys $300, your mom, your neighbor, it doesn't matter. As long as you spend $300 in this 3 months, then you continue for another 3 months. And it continues that way on perpetuity. If you don't get that $300 in June, you actually have a holding month, if you will, for the month of July. So you would have till July 31st to get that $300 in. And that is $300 of product. So you would get your discount at, you'd have $60 off of that, so $240 plus shipping and tax, okay? Unless you live in a place like I do and there is no tax. So then you're good to go. All right, so this is how it works. There is absolutely no pressure. If you buy your kit today, so you spend your $99 plus tax, that's it. I will never ask that you do anything else. I will ask if you want me to ask you or give you more information, but I will never ask you or certainly never demand of you that you do anything else, okay? You do not have to do anything unless you choose to, and that's the beauty of it. I could quit today and there would be nothing anybody would do. I would be sad, but if I quit today, I would be very, very sad, but I don't have to. So there you go. If you would like to start, I am looking for 4 or 5 new members to join my team right now. You have to get this deal with the 155 or the 125 and free markers and stamp set. You have until February 28th, just under a week to get that done. Thank you for joining me. I hope you've learned something new. Have a good one, and we will see you next time.